Welcome to Creepypasta by Axel D. Blaze.
This happened more than 10 years ago. We live in rural Oregon, and during mushroom season, we'd often go picking in the woods behind our house. When I was in elementary school, I used to go with my grandpa, who would show me all the best spots, just the two of us. By the time I was in middle school, I started going alone or with friends. There wasn't much else to do out in the countryside, you know? That day was a Sunday, so I went with a friend. At first, everything was going smoothly. We were finding all kinds of mushrooms. We were just about to head home when my friend suddenly screamed and collapsed right where he was standing. I figured he might have cut his foot on a branch or something. That kind of thing happens a lot out there. But he was trembling, pointing up into the trees. So I looked up too. There were two hanging bodies. When you're truly shocked, you can't even scream. I stumbled backward, paralyzed with panic. But the more I looked, the more I realized they weren't real corpses. They were mannequins. What the hell? What kind of sick joke is this? I muttered through clenched teeth. We rushed down the hill, explained everything to my dad, and the three of us, me, my dad, and my friend went back up there with a stepladder, a hatchet, and pruning shears to deal with them. My dad climbed the ladder while my friend and I held it steady. He quickly cut the ropes and dropped the mannequins to the ground. "Let's just get rid of these things," he said, and we carried them back to our shed. But just throwing them out as they were might cause more misunderstandings, so we decided to break them apart first, to make them less human-looking. My dad started by stripping off the tattered clothes one of them was wearing. That's when we saw it, written in big red letters across its belly, "A curse upon whoever takes this mannequin down." We all froze on the spot. Then my dad stripped the other one. It had been dressed in an old woman's dress. Sure enough, across its belly it said, "The one you love the most will die." Trying to keep us calm, Dad said, "Why don't you two go get something to drink, all right?" And he sent us out of the shed. In the meantime, my dad smashed both mannequins into pieces and disposed of them. A few days later, my mom died suddenly of heart failure. She'd been perfectly healthy just the day before. It was so sudden. Since then, we never talk about what happened. But the fact remains, my dad, my friend, and I are all still alive. Was her death just a coincidence? Or was it a curse from those mannequins? Some kind of dark, unseen force? I still don't know the answer. I hate even saying it out loud, so I'll write it here instead. What hurts the most is that it said, "The one you love the most will die." I was just driving through Germany, headed to a hotel near the edge of the Black Forest. It was late, maybe 9 p.m., when my car suddenly sputtered, jerked, and died on a narrow two-lane road with no lights and no shoulder. I coasted it to the edge and popped the hood. Not that I'd know what to do. No signal, no traffic. Just trees tall, ancient, and leaning a little too close. I remembered passing a sign for a village maybe 2 or 3 kilometers back. So I locked the car, grabbed my flashlight, and started walking. About 20 minutes in, I noticed a flickering light off to the right, deep in the trees. It wasn't like a porch light or flashlight, this pulsed like fire. I thought maybe it was a campsite or a house. Either way, someone might have a phone. So I pushed through the brush. Thorns tore at my jeans and tree limbs smacked me in the face, but I kept moving toward the glow. And that's when I saw them. A circle of people, maybe 9 or 10, stood around a tall fire. They were holding hands, swaying gently in unison, chanting something in a deep guttural rhythm. The sound wasn't human exactly. Or maybe it was too human. Raw, primal. I froze. I should have turned around. Instead, I watched. The chant stopped like someone had cut a wire. Each person reached down and lifted a goblet from the ground. The liquid inside glowed blue, bright, almost neon. They raised the goblets high above their heads and shouted one final phrase, perfectly timed, perfectly rehearsed. Then they drank, and then they stepped forward into the fire. No hesitation. One after another, like dominoes tipping over. The flames roared higher, pulsing with unnatural light. And then the screaming started. But it wasn't them. It was it. The bodies didn't burn. They melted skin folding over skin, limbs twisting and merging, bones cracking and reforming into something massive. The fire turned from orange to white, then to a sickly green. And from it rose something I'll never forget. A beast. It stood over 20 feet tall, spine arched backward, skin slick like it was just born. It moaned a terrible hollow sound that vibrated through my ribs. As it stretched upright, I heard the crack of bones snapping into place. It had no clear face, just too many limbs, claws that curved backward, and 6 dim blue eyes that glowed from a cluster near what should have been its head. And it looked right at me. I ran. Branches tore at my face. I don't remember breathing, just moving, crashing through underbrush, slipping on wet moss and praying I didn't trip. Behind me, the thing screamed. I could hear it crashing through the trees faster than anything that size should move. Somewhere ahead, I saw a light, a porch, a house. Someone had just stepped outside, probably wondering what all the noise was. "Get inside," I screamed. They turned toward me just as I blew past them. Then I heard it. A wet crunch, a sharp inhale, then a scream that turned into a gurgle and stopped. I didn't look back. I tore through the house and dove into a hallway closet, pulling coats and cardboard boxes over myself. My heart slammed so hard in my chest I thought it would give me away. Then the roof peeled off. Literally, peeled. I heard wood snap, shingles tumble, and moonlight flood in. Through a crack in the closet door, I saw it. The creature, sniffing, crawling, searching. It turned toward me, moved closer. Its breath rasped and bubbled like it had lungs full of swamp water. One claw tapped at the floor just outside my hiding spot. Then, another scream. A woman this time, somewhere off in the distance. The beast paused. Then, it bolted toward the sound, knocking down walls as it ran. I didn't wait. I ran the other way. I don't even remember how far. I just know I found a ravine, dropped into it, and ran until I spotted a drainage tunnel barely wide enough for me to crawl into. I slid inside, gasping, shaking, soaking wet. And then I saw its eyes, glowing blue, peering into the tunnel. It crouched down and reached in. Its claws scraped the sides as it groped blindly, finally snagging my pant leg. I kicked, screamed, slid back, but it had me. It pulled, then slipped, grabbed again, then lost grip. Just as it got a good hold, it let out this wretched scream and snapped its head backward. Its entire body convulsed. Then it turned to dust, like ash being blown apart by wind. Just gone. The forest fell silent. I stayed in that tunnel until dawn. When I finally emerged, I flagged down a truck and got a tow. I told the driver I'd been attacked by wild dogs. He didn't ask questions, just gave me this sideways look, like he'd heard something similar before but didn't want to talk about it. 2 days later, I saw a headline. Owner of forest home found dead in suspected gas leak. The photo showed the ruins of the house I'd run through, Walls collapsed, roof gone, trees charred. They said it was a freak accident, faulty piping. They didn't mention the woman, and they sure as hell didn't mention what I saw. But last night, I was woken by something else. A thump on the roof, a low moan through the wall, and outside my bedroom window, 6 dim blue eyes staring in.
I don't know why I'm writing this. Maybe to document it. Maybe just so I know I'm not crazy. It's about my friend Matt. He was normal a few weeks ago. Loud. Funny. A little chaotic in the best way. You know the type. The kind of guy who walks into a room and makes you forget you were ever bored. We hung out almost every weekend. Played games. Watched garbage horror movies. Roasted each other over cheap takeout. Then something changed. It started with texts. At first, they came at weird hours. Like 3:17 a.m. or 4:02. Nothing too strange, except Matt never used to text that late. And the messages didn't sound like him. Sleep well, sugar. I'll be seeing you soon. Purple heart. Matt doesn't talk like that. He never calls anyone sugar. I brought it up to him the next time we met. He laughed, said he probably texted half asleep. But there was this moment. Barely a second. Where he seemed confused. Like he genuinely didn't know what I was talking about. Then his smile snapped back into place. That smile didn't reach his eyes. After that, I started noticing more. He began repeating things I said earlier in conversations. Like he was trying to remember how I phrased them. He blinked a little too slowly. He stood a little too still when no one was talking. Once I caught him just watching me. Not in a creepy way at first. More like someone studying a reflection. Then last week, he came over. Except I swear to God, I thought he was already in my house. Because earlier that night, I heard footsteps upstairs. Matt has a key, so I assumed he'd come in quietly. I even heard him humming. That dumb tune he always did while scrolling through Reddit. I yelled up to him. You good? No answer. But the footsteps stopped. Then he knocked at the front door. I opened it. There he was. Grinning like nothing was weird, holding my favorite energy drink. Surprise, he said. I asked if he'd been inside already. He shook his head. But something passed over his face. Just a flicker. A crack. Like he forgot what the right answer was for a second. That night I barely slept. I kept checking the locks. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard the humming again. Not from upstairs this time. From just outside my door. I checked the peephole. No one was there. The next morning, Matt's social account posted a photo of me. One I don't remember being taken. I was asleep on my couch. In the mirror behind me, barely visible, was him. Smiling. But it wasn't the same smile. It was stretched too wide. His eyes were glassy. Wrong. Like something inside was too excited to wear the skin it had stolen. I tried to call Matt. His number doesn't exist anymore. Literally. This number has been disconnected. Half of my photos of him are gone too. Just blank gray thumbnails. No error. Just absence. Then I got a message from an account named @Matt_reborn. I love him too. I just wear him better. And now I think he's in my house again. I just heard something creak in the hallway. A slow, dragging footstep. I locked the door. I know I locked it. I can hear the humming now. Coming closer. That off-key version of Matt's tune. Like someone humming through a cracked throat. I'm typing this fast now. He's in the room. I don't want to turn around. Please, if you're reading this, pay close attention to I'm ready to be your best friend now.